Hey, what's going on everybody? Painblade back here again with another Genshin Impact showcase, and today guys we're going to be covering Keqing. That's right, Keqing, that's how you say her name. I would have never thought it. I looked it up and hey, I'm a little more cultured now I guess. So Keqing is actually one of my favorite characters, and if you don't know who she is, she was actually added in later into the beta phase, and she's a 5-star character who is an electro damage character and a sword user. So what I'm going to do, guys, you've already seen the showcase of the damage. I'm going to go through what I'm using as a weapon for her. I'm going to go through her talents, where I'm at in terms of max duping her, and also sorts of other stuff, including artifacts and how to set her up. Now, for me personally, we're going to take a quick look at her actual attributes. Now, her attributes, as you can see here, are set up as follows. I have HP for survivability. I've got attack. She doesn't hit as hard as Diluc does, but she's still a quick attacker. So her actual speed makes up for the fact that she doesn't hit quite as hard. Of course, not being a great sword user, you're going to do a little less damage. So her crit rate is really low, guys. This needs to go up. So I'm going to I put an attack set on her instead, but I think I'm going to switch over to a crit rate and crit damage set. So this is one thing I definitely need to change. Her energy recharge is decent. As you can see here, it tells you exactly what it does. And for everything else here, I've got everything set up except for electro damage. I've got bonus on that. Of course, she is an electro damage user, and most of her attacks are going to be electro damage, so I have set up her to have as much electro damage as I can through artifacts, but I only found one so far, so I'm looking to update that. So let's go back here and see what I've done in terms of her weapon. So her weapon, we're using the Aquila Favonia. Now the reason why I set this up, first off, is the physical damage that's done there. First off, with 26.8%, that covers all physical damage. Now, she is an electro damage user, but half the time you are doing just regular attacks, so that actually does really help. There may be a better weapon for her, but currently this is what I think works best. Now, the Falcon's Defiance does attack is increased by 30%, triggers on taking damage. So every time she takes damage, she does that. She also does Falcon of the West Awakens. So when this procs, it regenerates HP equal to 130% of her attack, and that's why it's so important to have an attack set. That's why I set up attack, and deals 260% of attack as damage as well too for surrounding enemies. This can only work 15 seconds per time. Now, as you can see here, I've got it refined up to 3. I'm looking to hopefully get this to 5, but it is one of my favorite weapons right now, and I think this is a great fit for her because she can heal herself as well as do a ton of damage. So that is the weapon that's currently being used. Now, for artifacts, guys, what we set up is this one here. Increases, so this is the martial arts set, and the 2-piece gives her normal attack and charge attack damage by 15% because you use that very, very often. And also the 4-piece set, after using elemental skill, increases normal attack and charge attack by 25% for 8 seconds. Now, this is the reason why I've set up this piece, because you use her normal attack and her elemental skill very, very, very often. So I think this is a very good set. The only issue I have with the set right now for myself is the fact that I do not have crit set up on it. But you can see here I've stacked as much attack as I possibly can on her substats and her main stats. Unfortunately, sometimes you just kind of have to settle with what you have for now. The artifacts is a long-term thing. You're going to be working a lot on getting your artifacts up, but once you get to level 30 or rank 30, you can start going to the 4-star artifacts and start farming those. So I'll definitely be putting that. But there you go. You can see here I've got the electro damage bonus, and we've got, of course, HP here for survivability. Only reason why it's HP at the moment, guys, is because I can't seem to find a proper martial arts item to replace. So I may see I've got the Berserker Rose here. I may have to do a little bit more farming to get better stuff, but I can always switch over to that and see what we get. But for now, that's the artifact set. So the reason why, again, I'm choosing this over the Berserker set is the martial arts set ends up giving her way more attack, which I think at the end of the day, without the percentage being high, is worth it. Until you can get your crit up to the 60 to 70% mark, it's always better to have more attack. All right, now in terms of constellations, I've actually got her to 3. I'm really, really looking for that extra dupe because the 4th attunement gives her attack increase by 25% for 10 seconds after she does her electro-related elemental reaction. So that is a key one, guys. Now, the first one, recasting Stellar Restoration, while lightning stilettos present causes Keqing to deal 50% of her attack as an AoE damage, which is huge. So that's a big one. She causes AoE damage when she lands with her special. Not her special, sorry, her skill. Keen Extraction is when Keqing normal and charge attacks at opponents affected by Electro, they have a 50% chance to produce an elemental particle. That is amazing. And that also occurs once every 5 seconds. And then lastly, this one here just increases the Starward Sword by 3. Now, if you look at her talents, this here, Stellar Restoration, is her E skill, and it's phenomenal. It's actually one of the best things I've actually been using. You can either use it as a straight attack to an opponent where auto targets and you press it again and she'll teleport there and do more electro damage, or you can actually target it yourself at a high distance, so it's used for exploration purposes and it can be used for damage. And then her Starward Sword, of course, being her special, does an AoE all across, looks amazing. Creates shadows of her with electro damage and is one of the coolest looking moves in the game. And then, of course, her talent within 5 seconds of casting Stellar Restoration. While the Lightning Stiletto is present, Keqing's normal charge attack are converted to electro damage. So, essentially, every time you cast Stellar Restoration over here, right, and then within the 5 seconds, all of your attacks become electro damage. So it's phenomenal. You end up causing so much electro damage. That's why you want to stack a lot of electro damage on her. And then Aristocratic Dignity. When casting Starward Sword, Keqing's crit rate is increased by 15%, and her energy recharge is increased by 15%. This effect lasts for 8 seconds. So her crit does go up when she does cast her Starward Sword. So if you are going to build her crit rate, as a crit build, definitely get to at least 85% if you can. That way you're guaranteed 100% crit during that moment, and you can land all of your crits with heavy crit damage. And also you want to stack crit damage, of course, if you have crit. But don't neglect attack, because crit damage is based off of your attack. If you have low attack, your crit damage is going to do nothing, right? And then lastly, Land Overseer. When dispatched on an expedition, in the way time consumed is reduced by 25%. So just a minor little passive talent. But there you go, guys. So one of my favorite characters. You guys saw the showcase. I hope you enjoyed it. Her damage is really good. So if you do get her, definitely add her on your team for an electro damage character. Razor's also a good alternative. He's a great sword user, though. So, I mean, if you want a little bit of change of pace, it might be a good idea to switch to her and use a sword user. Other weapons that are good for her. Let's take a quick look here. See what we have. So this was not bad. After damaging an opponent with an elemental skill, the skill has an 80% chance to end its own cooldown. This is good because you can actually end up spamming her stiletto move very often, her electrical reaction, which is her base skill, and that will cause a ton of damage. So this is actually a pretty decent sword to have on her. Now this one here, not as good. It's just an AoE that hits surrounding enemies. So not a real big thing for her. You want to actually raise her stats as much as possible. Let's see what else we got here. On hit, normal attack and charge increases attack and defense by 4% for 6 seconds, max up to 4 times. So not a bad prototype. Rancor is not a bad sword for her. If you're looking to build her attack spec, you actually could use this to raise attack even further. So not a bad one at all. Increases damage against enemies affected by Pyro and Electro. So if you're looking to do even more damage, like just raw damage increase, this is actually one of her best swords, Lion's Roar. This one is highly recommended. So if you guys want to use a good 4-star sword for her to do a ton of damage because of the sheer amount of electro damage she does, this is one of the best ones. Also gives you base attack up. So get this sword leveled if you're using a 4-star sword and get that on her. That actually might end up being better than the sword I'm using, to be quite honest. After damaging an opponent with the mental skill, we saw this already. This is the flute, we saw that already. What else we got here? Favonia Sword, crits have a 60% chance to generate a particle. This is normal. Again, if you don't have high crit, not really a useful sword for her. Anyone who's using 3 stars. Using Elemental Burst grants a 12% increase in attack and movement speed for 15 seconds. So not a bad one. You could probably do better. Let's see what else we have for 3-star swords. All the same swords going all the way down. What is this one here? Same sword. As you can see here, I've got a ton of the yellow or 3 stars. So Lion's Roar so far, Favonia's Aquila obviously, or Aquila Favonia obviously, guys, is the best one. And I think that might be it for her. Honestly, if I'm going through this whole, there we go. Elemental Orbs, nope. On hit has a 50% chance to do, nope, not very good. When HP is above 90%, increases crit by 14%. That's not bad. If you guys can see, it has crit damage as well. So for a 3-star sword, if you're going to build her crit build, the Harbinger of Dawn is actually really good because it gives you crit damage and it gives you crit rate up. So that actually might help you get to that 85% to 100% if you need it. So Harbinger of Dawn is definitely a good 3-star sword for her. If you're going to be using the Berserker set to get her crit spec. And then lastly, wow, I've got so many of these. What do we have here? Increases damage against enemies affected by Hydro or Kyra. No, not what we're looking for. Let's go further. And I think that's it, guys. So that's it. So Lion's Roar would be my highest recommendation if you're going to use 3. Harbinger of Dawn, 5-star. We're going to use Aquila Favonia. Yep, I think that's it for weapons. So there you go, guys. I hope you enjoyed the showcase. If you have any questions, hit me up in the comment section. If you have any comments, hit me up in the comment section. But definitely one of my favorite characters, one of the funnest characters, one of the best designs, and just overall, just a cool cat. Anyways, guys, have a wonderful day. We'll talk to you soon.